Hey guys, it's your English teacher Mohammed, and today I wanted to do my first lesson in what's going to be a grammar series. Yeah, I'm going to call this Mohammed Wilkinson's Guide to Learning English. But, anyways, so today I wanted to talk about parts of speech. Right, so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to show video panel. Yeah, so right. So basically, we're going to talk about parts of speech. So, parts of speech, what are these? Yeah, parts of speech. So, when we study any language, the language are made of building blocks such as nouns, verbs, particles, adjectives, whatever, right? And these form like the building blocks of the things. So, these are the building blocks of language, right? So building blocks of language. Now, different what you call it? Yeah, so building blocks. Different languages have different numbers of parts of speeches. With Arabic, there are three parts of speech, so that kind of makes it simple in some ways. With English, there are actually eight parts of speech, right? So we're gonna examine what those eight are, right? So we have the nouns, right? Then we have pronouns. I think that's yeah. So pronouns, we have the verbs, yeah. Then we have the adjectives. Let's see, one, two. Yeah, right. Adjectives, right? Then we have the adverbs, prepositions, right? Prepositions, right? Then I'm just gonna kind of split the screen here. We got, yeah, then we have conjunctions, right? Conjunctions. Then the last one, which even I had to look this up, right? But then the last one is interjections, right? So we're going to look at each of these in turn. And I kind of want to just quickly, I'm not going to go into these things in detail. I just want to give an overview so that you understand that, okay, do I understand, nouns and pronouns and verbs? Great. And adjectives. But how about adverbs? Adverbs tend to be a kind of higher level skill. In fact, the biggest difference between someone lower than who's not a B2 is they can't use adverbs. If you're basically B1 or below, or you're sort of low intermediate or beginner, you have trouble with adverbs as an example, right? So if we want to understand what each of these things are, so like you know, with nouns, these are like the things, right? So, for example, we have tree. I'm not gonna like things like trees, milk, Muhammad, Paul, whatever. So proper nouns, right? These like the pronouns they replace the nouns, right? So we have things like he, she, it, they, yeah. Verbs are the actions, right? So we have things like um, say, tell, run, walk, play. Adjectives describe the nouns, yeah, describe nouns. Right, yeah, describe nouns. It's not going to be super, well, it's going to be a little bit messy. Describe nouns. And then the adverbs describe verbs, right? So this is the thing. Like, for example, you could eat slowly, right? You can eat quickly. You can talk fast. You can talk slow. So, or slowly, yeah. You talk quickly. You can talk quickly. You can talk slowly. Yeah. So the nice little thing you can look here is add. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe in another lesson I will actually kind of go deeper into that so that to help you remember. But in any case, the word verb is an adverb, so that tells you that that's going to describe the verb. And then obviously adjectives, yeah, it, it describes the noun, right? So by kind of process of elimination, you can tell that adjectives will describe the noun. Obviously prepositions, yeah, I would say connect nouns together. Yeah. Connect nouns together. Yeah. Yeah. So that's important. That's how I would think about them. You know, uh, Paul said to Muhammad, yeah. So notice the noun, verb, preposition, Muhammad. So that's very important, right? So they connect the nouns to Paul and Muhammad there, right? Conjunctions, these connect sentences, right? Connect clauses, yeah. But let's just say they connect sentences, right? Because I think that's a better way of thinking about it. And these are express emotion, right? So emotion, yeah. So these are things like if we use an example like oh my, right? Oh my, right? Or well, I'll say, well, I'll say. So there's no like specific, well, there is a specific meaning, but it doesn't have a sort of a literal meaning. It's more of oh, like it gives a feeling rather than a meaning, right? So interjections kind of express more feelings, right? So I want to kind of draw a little diagram of all of this, right? So we got the sort of the the language, right? English language, right? English language, right? Right. And I want to kind of draw a little diagram to help you understand these different parts of speech. Yeah. Or maybe I should actually type it as parts of speech. Yeah. I think that makes more sense. So yeah, parts of speech. Yeah. Right. So I would say the best way to think about this, about how these parts of speech, their importance and how they relate to each other. I'm going to kind of demonstrate that with a little diagram. So I would say the three pillars of let's try that again. Right, maybe make it a little bit smaller. The the three pillars of yeah, that looks much better. Right. The three pillars of the English language itself, right? I would say if you want to master just like the basic level of the English language itself, you want to be focusing on nouns, yeah, and obviously pronouns, right? Right. Then you got the verbs, yeah, and then we have prepositions, right? This this is these are the three pillars, right? Get these right, and then the rest is just sort of the rest will kind of fall into place. Yeah, right. And then essentially what supports the pronoun, right, are the sort of and the nouns, right? What supports it are the adjectives, right? Yeah. And then of course what supports the yeah, what supports the verbs are the adverbs, right? So these support these pillars, yeah. And then essentially we have the so if we say that there are, sentences, right? So to create a sentence, So to create a sentence, an English sentence, right? Of course, right? English sentence. To create an English sentence, you need the nouns, pronouns, verbs, prepositions. That's to create an English sentence. And of course, the adjectives and adverbs, they support the nouns and verbs respectively. And then we have another sentence here, right? Right. And this here is where the sort of conjunctions are. Yeah, conjunction. So this essentially connects sentences together, or technically clauses, but each clause can be a standalone sentence. So really, to connect sentences, you need the conjunction, right? And then we'll just say here, yeah. So like are the interjections, right? So they're kind of, I wouldn't say that that important, right? But if you really want to fully understand English, you'll definitely need this, right? But I would say you got yeah, you got the parts of speech, you got the nouns, right? The verbs and the prepositions, right? Then they're being supported by the adjectives and adverbs. And then they connect, and then you connect they build the sentence, and you can connect the sentence to another sentence using conjunctions. So understanding these parts of speech and how they come together to make the English language, I think understanding that it will help, it will create a good foundation for the future lessons, right? So I hope that was useful, right? And yeah, so we're gonna actually, yeah, stop share, right? So I hope that was useful, and yeah, subscribe, and so that you'll be notified for the next video in this series, right? Yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Yeah.